Hello everybody. In this video, we are going to continue working with our application, and now we are going to do the real database connection. As you remember, in the last video, we have the endpoints working with a fake database where we call all the posts with the GET request to get everything. If we specify the ID, we just get that particular post. For example, ID 0 give me the first post, ID 1 gave me the second one, I'm second, and with a post request, change it to a post, change the body, sending directly to post. We create a new one that is, we change that to a get request to post. Now we have the new post in there. But all of this was actually created through a fake database. And this is our code. We just generate an array with two JSON objects in there with different IDs, and through the API we're just working and playing around, filtering that array or pushing new element to that array. So we're going to change that, and we're going to use a real database now. I was dividing myself which type of database we need to use. There's another approach to use a NoSQL database, and it's a really cool concept. But I want to give you a little more what is the traditional database without the complexity actually creating one. So that is why I went with SQLite. SQLite is a library that implements a small, fast, self-contained SQL database. What it does is give you the functionalities of a SQL database, like MySQL, if you're familiar with that one, or PostgreSQL, or Oracle database, or even Microsoft SQL Server. So SQLite will give you that capability, like creating table, inserting information to the table, reading the information, etc. But in a self-contained environment. That means that we doesn't need to do anything in the server. That database is going to be a file, and that file will have the structure inside to actually be working with the table. A way to actually read that file outside our application is something like this. Database browser for SQLite is where actually you open the file and you can see the different tables and you can see the content of the table. So this actually is a good one, and you can download for free. And it have the Windows version, and it have the Mac OS version that you wanted. Or you can actually go, if you're in a Mac, as I am, what I did, I just look for SQLite in the App Store, and I download this one, Datum Lite. It's actually it's really good one. It has his purpose, right? And this is the one that I will be showing to you guys, and how actually works and how to be implemented. So for now, let's get started. How we implement SQLite, how we are going to connect to that? Well, we're going to use a query builder. This query builder is called Next.js. It's pretty much help us to create queries. You don't need to understand SQL statement by itself. This will give us for us, and it connects to a different kind of databases. One of those is the one that we need, the SQLite. The installation is installing Next and then adding the following database depending which one do you want. So we're going to be installing Next and SQLite 3. This library, what it helps us is something as simple as, let me just move a little bit further. Here you go. Now let's do something here. There you go. Here have examples. So we say next column title auto year select from books. This property will generate this SQL statement. Select title, author, and year from books. Let's go to a more complex example. getting from the users table where ID is not 1. So it's pretty much creating select everything from users where it's not ID equal 1. So as you can see, as properties and hard-coded typing, they will help us to have some kind of safe typing in order to know what we want to do. Will help us to generate our SQL statement that we are not going to see, but we will create and do everything that we want. For example, let me go for the create table. Let me look for create table. Here you go. So using next schema public or without the schema, create tables, users, and we have auto increment and a column called name that is going to be type string, and we'll save the timestamp. This simple command will create this a little more complicated SQL statement. As you can see, this will help us to have the created at and updated at date time in our database, and it's actually really good to have it. So let's now get started. So let me go back to the top. Let me change show examples in SQLite. So all the examples are going to be in there. And let's start installing Next and SQLite 3. So let me go to the project. I have the project already running, as you can see. So I have my project here, I have my terminal, and I can do yarn add SQLite 3 and next. We click enter. This is what we're going to do. It's pretty much, as you can see, creating the next and SQLite dependencies in our project. Perfect. Now that we have that dependencies installed, we can start using it. And we need to declare a configuration for our database. So let me actually create a config.javascript inside my database folder. And in here, I will use a little different approach. So I will create, actually let me go to the documentation to show you where I'm going to get it. For the example with SQLite. Pretty much I will copy this and I will paste it. The difference is I will change the variable to const. I like to work with const. And I will, instead of next, I like to call it database. So my database will require next and use the client's SQLite. And my database is going to be called in the root directory. This means it's going to be saved in the root directory. And let me just put single quotes because I like single quotes. There you go. And it's going to be called SQLite. Perfect. This is really important that the extension of the files being SQLite is a really easy way. And right now you can see my Visual Studio Code already have my configuration as a new file and this one modified. When we are going to run this, you will see that the SQLite is going to be pretty much created in our root. So we leave it like that. So now that we have that database, pretty much what we want to do is export default database. That means we are going to be able to exporting this database connection to the rest of our application. So we create the instance requiring the dependency. Is how it actually works. Sometimes what it does is, what we're doing sometimes in the past is something like import next from next, right? And we can do something else, right? But in this case, the documentation tells us to do the required this way, assigning to a variable. Well, in this way, a constant. So let's do it like that, and we export it. Perfect. Before we continue, we need to be creating tables. So let's actually create our first table. It's going to be the post table. And I like to have all those. You know what? Let's keep it that connection like it is. So in the post element, let's actually create a function. It's going to be called const create table, and that's going to be an array function as it is. Okay, so this create table, what it's going to be doing is actually we're going to actually this is going to be asynchronous, so let's put asynchronous in there, and we're going to be checking, well, let's actually import our database connections that we just created from the config file. So we have the database in, and now from my database we can have like a bunch of elements to do with our database, right? We can see all of those here. So we are going to use with the schema. We're going to work with the schema. And let's just create table if not exists. This element will create, of course, as the name says, will create table if not exists. As this will require a callback. A callback is a function that will be running if that table is actually not there. So the name of the table is going to be post, and then that's the table name, and then the callback. And the callback is going to be a function. Let's actually create a function like this. And let's do it. And with that function, we say, actually, this is not empty. We're going to say the table there, and we will say that the table dot increments. That means we have an ID, and that ID is going to be incremented by default. And then we can create a table dot string. Let's actually be, and then specify the name of the column. In this called text is how we have it, an ID and a text. Let's actually leave it like that. So this schema, let's actually do an await. And so this function, the only thing what it's doing is just creating a table, and we call that create table. So wherever we start the connection, the first thing that we're going to be doing is to create the table if that table doesn't exist. Perfect. Go. And you know what? I don't like this autonomy. Let me get all this, because let's could be repetitive in the future. And let's actually put it here. Something like this. So after the database connection, we create a table that doesn't exist, the table, and let's actually call it create tables, because it's going to be the same function to all the tables that we're going to be creating for our system. Okay, perfect. So now we can actually, I believe, we have the element here. Let me just think a little bit. We have a function that we are executing, and then we're exporting that element. the function actually uses the constant that we require. Yeah, it should be fine. Oh, we have an issue here. As you can see, because I had it open, give me just null as default. Let me just actually in here. You can use null as default, and we'll just put it doesn't support set to default values. And let's have this one like this. If we save it, oh, it doesn't like it, the create table if not exists. He's giving us a recommendation. Let's actually use it. It recommends us to use the hash table, and then the create table after fact. So let's change this one. So we're going to actually have the table post, and we can let me delete this. This will return true or false. So if we actually do console log this, we will say, oh, application get corrupted. Let me just close it, just run it again. Database schema has, oh, because it's not called house, it's called house table. Sorry for that. Let me save it. There you go. It gave me true. Why is giving me true? Because that means my database SQLite exists. If I refresh, you can see that my file is there. It's already created and that was closed. Let me actually close this. Let me just delete my SQLite file and let me start over. It gave me a fault, the table is not there. So the database schema has table post, we save it again. It's true. What? Now exists? Wow, it looks like now it's existing. If we save it again, that means that the has table post is working. So let me actually open, and I have it right here, my datum file, and let me just put it inside. Open other, my SQLite. So I have my post, I have my ID and my text there. Perfect. So we have several rows. It's pretty much what we needed or what we require right now. But why is doing it? Oh, it's doing it because this one we didn't save it. It was really weird. Let me close it. Let me delete it. Don't get confused. I was looking where actually it was not supposed to be created in the table because we are not specified that. So it should be false. If I save something, always give us false. That way, this element in here, you just verify if the table exists. So if that gives us true or false, depending the case, we can say, we can verify something like this. If doesn't exist, if this is actually false, it is going to create a table. If not, don't do anything. So we can say something like await database schema dot create table, because didn't like it this one, so let's use create table, and it's going to be the same way. The table post, and we're going to be sending the table, and we're going to say something as simple as before. So in our table we will have the increments, and this one is a function, and we'll have table dot string and a string, and it will call text. Perfect. We save it. Your application is running. Well, we have the SQLite file there. That means our table is already created. Perfect. And we can verify here. If we refresh, we said the post is working with ID there. Perfect. Let me see. So with this, we will create the tables, and we will be listing the tables that we're going to be using through the process of this project. For example, another table that we will require later could be just copy and pasting. And actually, let me do something like this. Perfect. And the next is going to be comments table. Comments. And we'll have table increment going to be an ID. And then a string going to be, actually it's not a string, that's a number, I believe. Table dot let's use integer, because going to, or integer, and going to be post ID, and we can have table dot in text string, sorry, and call the comment. So we can have something like this. So now we are verifying and checking if for comment or post tables exist, and it's being created. That way, you're going to back to here. Let me refresh. We should have, and it's not doing it, it's supposed to. Let me just restart this one. There you go. And this one should have it there. Didn't like it. But if I close it, let me open it again, my SQLite. There you go. It was not showing it, but now is there my comments table, ID, post ID, and my comment. I'm a post table with ID and text. So we can actually be creating all tables over here depending on the way that we need it. Let's actually create all the tables. So we have the post table, we need the comments. Let's create the likes table. Let's create the dislikes table, and let's leave it like that. So let me just format this a little bit. And it's going to be in the likes table, likes. It's going to be dislikes. Pretty much it's going to be in the increment. It's going to have who like it, and pretty much the post ID. We have the post ID. And we'll have the user ID, and this will have a little bit similar. So in the likes, we will keep in which post and which user, just pretty much saving. And that way we can actually, at the end, just keep some kind of incrementing. So let me save. That get ordered the way that is because I just put my formatting on. Let me remove my formatting. And if I go back here, I have my likes are there. My dislikes are not yet, probably. Probably I just need to close and open again. And there you go, my likes with my post ID, user ID, my dislikes are there, my comments and my post. So now that simple way we have a database and we can create tables with this particular process. With other elements we have, so we can do table.something and we can see the different elements that we can be using for our table. So in your project, just verify which kind of information you want to be saving. So for now, we'll leave it like that. Now I can move forward with my post. So I'm importing my database. So my post element is going to be a little bit different. And it's going to be a little bit different because it's not going to be hard-coded anymore. So let's actually create an object. And this object will have different functions. We have a getAll function. And this function will do something about it, right? We put a comma. We have another function, getById. And this, let's leave it empty for now. Let's just keep it. And then we'll fill out later. And we'll have the add. So we're pretty much replicating the three different needs that we need. In a route, we are getting all the posts. We are getting a specific post by a specific ID, and we are adding a specific post. So let's leave it like this for now. So in order to get, and we are going to be exporting our post object. So our post is going to be like that. So getAll is a simple select statement. If you have issue to identify which one you are going to be doing, you have all the query builder elements over here to be reading and seeing the information, right? So for now, because I already know which one we are going to be used, let's keep it a little bit simpler for you. So I will create an all post equal, and it's going to be an asynchronous actually, a synchronous function, and it's going to be a wait. Give me from my database, because I'm already importing it, get it from the post element, from post table. And that's it. And then we're going to be return all post. As simple as this. Let's save it. Our application probably is going to be running fine, but if we try to query those, it will give us some issues. So let's work for the database connection first. So we have the all posts like that. So getting by ID, we have something really similar. And you know what? We don't need to be saving the post. Let's keep it one line. Let's just return and await getting all the posts. And this one we're going to return. Oh, let's do it async, of course. Return await from my post. Where something, right? So what I'm going to do is I want to specify the ID to be an ID that I need to be given it. So that will compare the table, the column ID for my post to some specific value. So this one actually needs to be an ID. So we need to send the ID in order to read the ID. And because we're using modern JavaScript, inside an object when the key and the value have the same name, you can actually skip it and just put ID. This will do both validation for you. So at the end, for adding, let's do an asynchronous again, and let's return await. For my database, we're going to insert to where? Actually, for my table post, my database post, we're going to insert a text. And the same way, we need to specify that text over here. So with these simple lines, because our database is like that, that is why I love actually Next. It gives us a way to work in asynchronous, to be pending some information, and querying in a really simple manner. So after we have all this, we have the get all, get by, and adding inside of the post element or object. We can go to another API and let's start making some changes. So first of all, we have these three different posts. The get all, this is going to be the get by ID, and this is going to be the post request, so adding request. So for this one, because we are working with asynchronous, we are going to do our request response is going to be asynchronous, and we are going to be just saying const all post equal await. Oh, I need to import it. Oh, I already have. I went to away from my database dot get out. And return. And actually respond in a JSON format with my all post. So what is happening here in my API? Actually, I'm doing something wrong. It's not from my database, it's actually from my post. And this is what I don't need it. There you go. So I have my get all function, it's an asynchronous function. So I call it in await get all elements when I do the request. When I do it for one specific, I can do my post equal, and it's going to change a little bit. Instead of filter, it's going to be get by ID, and I need to send the ID. And my ID is this one. Right? And I will respond with the first element. We can actually do something like this. Or let's actually change this one a little bit. So we have the post dot length is bigger than 0. We're going to return that the first post, or we're going to return promote the status, right? Because now this is going to be just like an empty value or 0 value. It doesn't exist. So that's why now we are just creating the post exists. We're seeing the length by itself. Cool. So this one needs to change a little bit more. So here we are validating that the body post exists, and then we're checking that the body text exists. And we are specifying the ID in the text. We don't need that anymore. We just need to change this to this. Let me delete these sections. And we're going to be doing is post dot add my text. And again, sorry, this needs to be asynchronous. And this needs to be await. This needs to be asynchronous. And this is going to be await. And the rest could stay like that, actually. So let's see if actually it's working. Our application is running. So let's actually get all the posts. The body doesn't matter. Let me actually delete the body, because you do a net request and we're supposed to get in 0. If we are getting something that doesn't exist, we give it not found because it's not there. So we change this to post and adding something to the body, and we send it. Something fails there. Oh, we have a push. Oh yeah, we don't need this anymore. Sorry, we actually just need to delete this line. And because we are doing that, we can actually make this a little more pretty. If new post exists, respond in JSON format, or respond that server error. Oh, something wrong. Perfect. Let me get everything, and we're supposed to get in the hello because we saved that. Let me do a post again, and let me change this hello for there. So we're getting pretty much the ID. Let me create another by, save it, getting the ID. As you can be seeing, it's having jumping my SQLite, because now in my post I have 3 different posts. They're being saved into the database, and of course, if I do a get request, let me delete this, I can see all my requests. If I specify a specific ID, I get that specific request. Cool. So this is actually how this is working. We were able to save a post. We were able to actually read the post and read all the posts, making a database connection. There's one last thing that I want to do, and this is more for making the code a little more readable, because I believe this part of the code is a little bit of a mess. It's clean enough as the way with a nested if statement, but I believe we can do a little bit better, because we're checking if the parent element exists and then with that specific element exists. So there is a proposal in JavaScript called optional chaining, and instead of doing that big if, we can do something like this. So for example, we have the object is foo bar baz. So we're telling if object exists and foo exists and bar exists, give me baz. In this case is 42. Object exists, yes. Quick exists, it doesn't exist. So we're getting baz from something that doesn't exist. Just specify undefine it. In the past, this is make the code break. So that is why we need to be checking with if statement if something is working or not. So let's actually use that. And the way to use it, we just need a couple of stuff. All those links going to be in the comments. So here we need to copy this. And let me close it. So let me just do yarn add my plugin. Perfect. And now that the plugin is installed, in the bubble.rc file, we're going to put this plugin line. So that file is already existing. We have it here. We did at the beginning. We have the preset. Let's do comma and let's put the plugins in there. Let me turn on my formatting. Perfect. I like it to be everything a little bit more formatting. And this is already formatting. My post, I believe it's already there. Let me use in case. Oh, perfect. And my API. Let me turn my formatting on, save it, just to have like a better understanding. Perfect. So now that we have the optional chaining installed, and there, we can change this mess to actually something a lot more clean. It's already clean enough, that if statement, nested if statement, but we can do something like this. It's request post dot text, and we just do something like this. We can delete this one and this one. Perfect. And I don't know exactly what you think, guys, but for me, a link is better. If my post element exists and it have a text element added, it's going to be a null. And then I verify if it was a null, I will respond with a formatted ending. And that's it. Let me start my program. Application is listing. Let me do a get request to the root. I get everything. Let me do a post. Let me just copy this. Actually, my posts need to be post. And I will send a text. And this text will be the last one. Bye now. You can save as 4. So if I get the element number 4, it's already there. Perfect. And you can see I have an issue there, but well, let's keep that typo there. So this is the way that you have handled the different post requests. As you can see, our code is getting really clean, really simple to read, and our database connection is getting really simple to read in a really easy way. So I hope that you guys like it. In the next video, we are going to be doing the next of the connection of the rest of the comments, likes and dislikes, and some route to actually handle that. Happy coding, everybody.